That was a pretty big shoe to fill. So thank you, Brian, for that dashing introduction. My name is Matt Phoenix. I'm a battalion chief of Martin County Fire Rescue. I've been here for 20 years. I've been with the fire department for 20. I've been here my whole life. I'm one of those guys. But I don't know everything. I will go ahead and get that out there. I really don't. I've been in the industry a very long time. I'm certainly, I don't have a 4-year degree, but when you're in an industry for a long time, you run across a lot of things. Brian called me up, and when he came over, the very first thing that he said to me, he said, "What if I told you that we had a company that has an all-natural, whole food, organic sugar blocker?" And I said, "Well, you'd have my attention because I've had my store for a long time. I'm not in it right now, but we have carb blockers, we have fat blockers, and we all know about the fat blockers, but we don't have a sugar blocker." And I never really understood why we didn't have a sugar blocker until I did my own research. And Brian, how many weeks did I take to research it?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm closer to 3. And what I did is I didn't want to hear. Because we've all done other things before, and being in the business a long time, I was a little tired. But what I did is I looked at 3 ingredients only in the F21 sugar blocker because that was where my main excitement was in the F21. So I didn't look at anything the company had to say about it. And what I did, it was really easy. How many people have looked at a product and tried to figure out what exactly is in the product and not being able to figure it out? How do they mask that? What do they call it? They say proprietary blend, which is kind of like a blanket statement of we'd rather you not know exactly what or how much of something is in there. Fat burners are notorious for doing that. I had that all the time. That was totally not the case with the F21. With the F21, which is their lead product, it's certainly not the most powerful product in their arsenal, but it is their lead product. It's what we all tend to lead with because everybody's concerned about sugars and the weight loss aspects, correct? Right? I know I am. I've been out of commission for about 3.5 months, so I'm all about losing some of this discount double check action. But this one was really easy. The F21 sugar blocker. There's 3 things in here, gang. If you haven't done it yourself, I highly encourage you to go on Google, the man's best friend, and hit it up. The very first thing is the L-arabinose. And if you look at the L-arabinose and you do your research on it, you find that that's what actually blocks the sugar. And the other thing you'll find too is that L-arabinose is an FDA-approved food additive here in the USA and Japan. Okay, I didn't say it by itself it is, but as an additive to food, as a natural sweetener, because L-arabinose is a plant sugar and is sweet with about 50% of the sweetness of regular sugar. And am I using this?
Yeah, sure.
Do I have to use it?
No.
No, I have to? Okay, good.
Just go.
Sorry. Hey, I'm still, it's only my 2nd time up here, so bear with me. No, don't throw stones at me. Okay, I'm not going to use that because I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway,
Stick
when
with what you
when
know
you
about.
yeah, I'm just going to stick with what I know because I'm a tactile person. Anyway, the L-arabinose is a sugar blocker, and what it does, the L-arabinose, when you take in simple sugars, I'm talking like fructose and table sugar, all right, sucrose. When you take in simple sugars, your body cannot digest the sugar molecule in its entirety without it being broken down. So what happens is you take in the sugar, it's digested, goes into your intestinal tract, and your intestines release an enzyme called sucrase. And what sucrase does is it breaks that sugar molecule down into 2 usable forms, either fructose and glucose, which can then be utilized for energy, okay, converted into glycogen. Fructose, not so much it does, but it gets transported more into fat, that's why, but that's another story. But so the sucrase enzyme breaks that down into a usable form. What the L-arabinose does, the very first thing when you take this into your body, the sweetness kind of triggers this feeling that you're eating something sweet from the L-arabinose. The next thing that it does is it goes into your body. There's another thing in here called cognac mannan, and if you research that, you'll find that it swells up between 60 and 300%. So that helps your stomach to feel full. That gives you that satiated, full feeling. And then the L-arabinose, for any of you medical people here, it's kind of like morphine and naloxone. Anybody? Never mind. But I'm a medic too. Anyway, so the L-arabinose has this strong affinity for sucrase. It's kind of like the perfect match. And what it does is the sucrase enzyme binds to the L-arabinose. Then here's the beauty of this. You take something negative, like sugar, because we all know how bad sugar is for us. In certain respects, some of it, too much of it. But what it does is it takes that sugar and it converts it into a prebiotic, all right, which helps to feed the probiotics. It also converts it into a short-chain fatty acid, which is why it becomes fiber-like. So you take something negative and it turns it into a positive. But there's another thing in here too that really blew me away. It's called, I'm going to say it because it sounds really good. I try to say it as much as possible. Coriolus versicolor polysaccharide, which is PSK. And if you look up PSK by itself, my dad died of cancer at 59. That was a long time ago, but still, he was a young man, and I'm not that far away from there. So it's very personal to me. 59 years old, and 1 in 3 people now will, be affected by cancer. So the PSK, that alone, what it does, it goes in and helps repair free radicals, or repair free radicals. It's a powerful antioxidant. But if you look in Japan and Canada, they actually pay, it's nationalized health care, and they pay for their patients to be on PSK therapy because it's been, and this is not from, this is the disclaimer, this is not from Ludaxx, this is what I researched and found, that it's reduced tumor size and helped increase patient life longevity. And so to me, when I read that, I said, all right, now let me see what the company has to say, and let's look at it from a different standpoint. So I was really, really stoked about that. The other one, the magnesium stearate, that's found in any supplement that you're going to take in a pill form. Okay, it just helps hold it together, and it's in everything. So it's really nominal. Any questions about the PSK or about the F21? Anyone? It's hot in here. I get nervous too. Sorry. But yes. What? Oh. Man. How am I doing? All right?
Good. Following getting ready.
I'm having a hot flash.
The pearls.
I know, right?
We got a clue for
What's
that.
that?
The pearl's supposed to help.
I know, right? Pearl. I'll tell you what. I was so focused on the F21 when I got it. I was so jacked about it, and I had almost all of it sold before I even got it in. That I didn't get any pearl and I didn't get any tea. So shame on me. Because I'm gonna tell you why. I've got both my boys on this now. And because we were at a training in Davie, and the vice president got up there and they talked about the pearl for acne. And I don't know about you, but I got a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, and their testosterone is raging. Let me tell you, it's driving me nuts. But they got a little acne problem. They get it from their mom. Not me, no, I'm kidding. Hey, 18 years. On Monday we've been married, but so I can say that safely because she's not here. But so we put them on the pearl. The pearl stands for power, energize. Hang on now. Energize, anti-age, rejuvenate, and life. I'm gonna tell you I didn't understand the complexity or the synergy that these 3 products had together until the guy did a product information call for us, and I kind of listened to it, and I understand they didn't just throw these 3 products out here on the market, at random. The way they all work together to, synergistically together to give you the beneficial effects to your body. I've always known, you know what free radicals are, right? Free radicals cause cell damage, cancer, multitude of different things. You cut an apple in half, you turn it over to the air, it oxidizes. You put a nail in water, it rusts. Oxidation. That's what happens with our body all the time. Stress, how many people are under stress? Everybody right here. It's just terrible. So you cause a lot of free radical damage. When they talk about a product's ability to reduce free radical damage, Angie. That's all right, Donald. They talk about ORAC scale. And you want to elaborate on ORAC scale a little bit?
Well, an ORAC scale is a food's ability to scavenge free radicals out of your body, basically. And there was another product that swept through this town called Monavie a few years back, and I watched some incredible things with that product. I watched some people, you know, that were very sick that got healthy. You know, and when I say that, my grandfather was one of those people. He came to me one day and he said, "Look, Brian, I've got to go on kidney dialysis." And I said, "Well," I said, "How about changing your diet a little bit and putting something healthy in it?" And I got him this product. Well, the ORAC score on that product was 1,300. And understand, per bottle. Understand this, that ORAC score can be fudged, and a lot of companies are doing it by adding vitamins and different things to their food products. But if you check the ORAC score of an all-natural piece of food, it's very accurate. And anyways, to make a long story short, a year after I'd put him on this product, his internist came back and said, you know, to my grandfather, said, "Look, you're the only person that I've ever had go from needing kidney dialysis to having normal kidney function." And she said, "What in the world have you done?" And he said, "The only thing I did was drink the silly juice my grandson gave me." And he's like, "That's all I did differently. I didn't change anything else." Well, the ORAC score on that product was 1,300. The ORAC score on this Pearl is 15,000. And what that product
Per
does per tablet.
Per capsule.
What that product does is it scavenges those free radicals out of your body. And the free radicals that replicate are the same kind of things that lead to cancer and a lot of other diseases.
Yeah, so we're not certainly making any claims, and the company does not make any claims. But, you know, listen, there's a lot to be said. You go to the doctor and what do? You know, they diagnose and they prescribe. Yeah, they look at you and and I'm not knocking doctors because I love my doctors, especially my wife works over here, so I get the royal treatment. But, you know, there's a lot of things preventatively that we can do, I think. And, you know, this offers it. The Pearl is phenomenal as far as antioxidant properties. I got both my boys on it. My 16-year-old's been on it for, well, as long as I've been doing this, so, you know, 3 weeks or so, and his face is already clearing up. So it's just like weight loss, it works from the top down. So his face is clearing up. Hasn't changed anything else, and he's dealt with it. It's not completely gone. I'm not telling you it's completely gone, but I'm telling you that I have noticeable positive effects to it, and the only thing he's doing differently is taking the Pearl. The other thing is their KonLi Tea. And, you know, I'm a guy. I'm like, man, I'm not drinking any tea. I'll go to Sonny's and get me a, you know, not sweet tea, but unsweet tea. Put that nasty artificial sweetener in there, which I quit doing that too, by the way. Because the more you read about this, let me tell you something. It's pretty scary. You know, as a little aside, to go back to this with the sugar issue, you guys understand, they're going to get into it here, but I read some articles last night when I was studying for my test this morning here tonight. But with the sugar, you know, they put sugar in everything, and they do that because, and we're gonna mention this also. Am I going over my time? No. There you go. Okay. With the sugar, when they went through that no fat craze, you know, and they took out fat of everything, that fat tastes good, right? It does, because I just ate a burger the other night over at Highway 55 in the mall. Fatty fat. It's good. But in order to keep that food tasting good, they had to add sugar to it. And what they also added to is a, you know, high fructose corn syrup, which is in almost everything. And not only is it in there for taste, but it's in there because it helps to preserve food, the shelf life of food. And I didn't realize, if you haven't Googled high fructose corn syrup, Google that. Do that and sugar. That'll blow your mind. I'm going to let you guys do the research on that, but it really does, you know. You don't have to do all that research. We'll do that for you, but I highly recommend that you do it because it is an eye-opener. The KonLi Tea, anyway, I'll get back to that. I wasn't going to drink the tea, you know. I just wasn't going to do it. I'm not a tea drinker. I like to have my coffee. But I'm going to tell you something. I carry this around with me all day. And like Ed, he had 2 tea bags in there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to man up and have 2 tea bags in there. I back to 1 tea bag. But huge difference. I have an issue with sleeping. You know, I have the whole ADD syndrome. When I lay down like a Rolodex, my mind goes like the whole day starts unfolding. Anybody else have that problem? Please, somebody raise their hand. So, you know, I'd go to bed, and I'm, you know, be talking to my wife, and she's like, "Good night, honey, I love you," and out, done. How did she do that? Not a care in the world. Then I get up and go back to the computer and stuff. But since I've been drinking the tea, and this is no lie. I drink the tea, I'll drink it right up to the moment I go to bed, I brush my teeth, I go in there and lay down, I'm like exhausted. It's just, I'm ready, I hit the sack, pull a pillow over my head, and I'm out, done, sleeping. I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence, but it's really helped me sleep. That's the only thing I can attribute it to, because, you know, I'm not taking anything for it. But there's 12, I'm not even gonna get into it. Ed put together these information sheets, which are phenomenal, and it tells you all the benefits. Because let's face it, the Chinese herbalists and the people that practice herbal medicine, they got it going on. So it breaks it all down in here and it tells you all about it. There's no way I could recite it to you, but it's pretty powerful stuff. But what this helps to do is it detoxifies you and cleanses you in a very safe, non-bathroom way. Was that okay saying that?
That was clean.
Yeah, because that was the first thing my wife said. She's like, oh, I'm not taking a detox tea. I'm like, honey, it's not like that. It just helps, you know, flush everything out of your system. But it's phenomenal. Anybody have any questions about anything? Did I hit everything?
You're good.
All right, very good.
Thank you very much.